You're living in a field of infinite potential right now, though you can only perceive a tiny sliver of what's available to you. All around you, countless versions of reality are pulsating just beyond your conscious awareness, waiting to be drawn into your experience through the magnetic power of your focus. Yet most people remain confined to a single stream of experience, repeating the same emotional patterns, encountering the same obstacles, facing the same limitations day after day, wondering why their reality refuses to transform despite their desperate longing for something more. Let's break through something fundamental here. You aren't trapped by external circumstances, cosmic bad luck, or some predetermined fate. You're experiencing the same reality on repeat because your internal system, your thoughts, your emotions, your nervous system, your very vibrational signature, remains locked in resonance with this particular frequency band of experience. You can't escape this loop through wishing alone. You can't force your way out through sheer willpower, and you certainly can't trick the quantum field by merely pretending to be different. The intuitive power we're exploring today isn't about pushing harder against reality. It's about shifting your state of being so profoundly, so authentically, that the field of consciousness has no choice but to reflect back to you a completely different experience of life. Allow me to illuminate what's really happening beneath the surface of your reality. The widespread misunderstanding about intuition and manifestation centers on the belief that desire is the driving force, wanting something intensely enough that universal forces conspire to deliver it to you. But here's the truth that few people fully grasp. Desire alone creates nothing in the quantum realm. The consciousness field doesn't respond to the intensity of your wanting. It responds to the coherence of your being. This means that right now, even if you're practicing all the recommended techniques, meditating faithfully, visualizing your desired outcomes, affirming positive statements, journaling your intentions, you might still be unconsciously anchoring yourself in your current reality. Why? Because beneath your conscious mind, your subconscious patterns are broadcasting a completely different frequency. Your nervous system remains attuned to familiar emotional states. Your body chemistry continues producing the same internal environment, and your energetic signature keeps pulsing out the same signal of limitation, fear, or separation. Even while your conscious mind is declaring, "I am abundant, I am worthy, I am connected." And here's the crucial insight that changes everything. The quantum field responds to your dominant vibration, not your loudest declaration. Let that truth settle into your awareness for a moment. The dominant vibration emerges from your entire being, not just what you think consciously, but what you feel viscerally, what you believe implicitly, what you embody moment by moment. This explains why you can repeat prosperity affirmations religiously while your body constricts with anxiety every time you check your bank balance, and the field will register the constriction, not the affirmation. This is why you can visualize loving relationships daily while your heart remains guarded and distant, and the field will respond to the guardedness, not the visualization. This is the hidden mechanism that keeps most people tethered to familiar realities. They believe transformation begins with external circumstances, with different actions, with new results. But the quantum shift always initiates from within, with coherence, with vibrational alignment. You must become the version of yourself that already experiences the reality you're seeking, not someday in the future when conditions are perfect, but right now, in this moment, regardless of external evidence. And here's where our understanding of reality expands into something truly extraordinary. Quantum physics reveals that all possibilities exist simultaneously in the field of potential. Every version of your life, every iteration of yourself, every outcome you could possibly imagine is already vibrating as a probability wave in the quantum soup of creation. When you shift your internal state, you're not manufacturing something from nothing. You're tuning into a frequency that already exists, collapsing a wave function that was always available to you. This understanding illuminates why certain patterns of energy, specific numbers like 3, 6, and 9, sacred geometric forms, ancient sound frequencies, have been revered across cultures and throughout time. They're not arbitrary symbols or superstitious relics. They're keys to universal patterns, resonant frequencies that help us align with coherent states of being. The true question isn't, how do I acquire what I want, but rather, who must I become energetically to resonate with the reality where this already exists? And becoming isn't pretending, becoming isn't forcing, becoming isn't performing. becoming as a full spectrum shift into coherent alignment with a new frequency of being. This is the foundation of the observer effect in your everyday life. You are not here to battle against your current reality. You are here to transcend it by rising into resonance with a higher order pattern. But before we explore the practical dimensions of this transformation, I invite you to pause and reflect deeply. What version of yourself has been operating today? What emotional frequency have you been broadcasting into the field? What reality have you been reinforcing with your focus, your energy, your inner dialogue? And are you truly ready to release that version of yourself so something new can emerge? Sit with these questions. Breathe into any resistance they trigger. Feel the edges they press against inside you. Because in the next section, we'll unveil the invisible forces that keep you anchored in familiar realities, the subconscious patterning that hijacks your attempts to evolve, and the emotional conditioning that overrides your conscious intentions. This is the layer that explains why so many people intellectually understand quantum principles, but rarely experience their transformative power. Are you prepared to see what's really running beneath your conscious awareness? Now let's address the genuine reason why transformation remains elusive for so many seekers. It's not because they lack motivation or desire for change. It's not because they're practicing manifestation incorrectly. And it's certainly not because they're unworthy of their desired reality. It's because they remain energetically entangled with a version of themselves that's calibrated to navigate their existing reality. And that version, while perhaps uncomfortable or limiting, feels deeply familiar to their nervous system. And the subconscious mind prioritizes the familiar over growth every single time. Your current reality doesn't require your permission to continue. It simply requires your participation. Each time you react from old emotional patterns, each time you repeat familiar internal narratives, each time you default to established expectations, you're reinforcing the neural circuitry and energetic signature that keeps collapsing the same probability waves into your experience. It's like a well-traveled path through a forest. The more you walk it, the more defined it becomes until eventually you're following it automatically, no longer consciously choosing your direction, but simply responding to the path of least resistance. You're not actively selecting your reality anymore. Your patterning is selecting it for you. This is where quantum mechanics and neuroscience converge in a profound relationship that traditional manifestation teachings often overlook. In quantum physics, the observer effect demonstrates that the act of conscious observation collapses waves of infinite potential into discrete particles, into specific events, into tangible experiences. But here's the crucial understanding that transforms this principle from abstract theory to practical wisdom. You're not observing reality solely through your conscious attention. You're observing it through the lens of your beliefs, your emotions, your subconscious expectations. Now factor in this neurological reality. Approximately 95% of your daily behavior and perception is driven by subconscious programming, the repository of all your conditioned responses, emotional imprints, core beliefs, and identity constructs. This means that the vast majority of the time, it's not your conscious intention that's collapsing probability waves. It's your subconscious patterning. Take a moment to fully grasp this truth. You're attempting to create new realities using the 5% of your consciousness that's awake and deliberate, while the 95% of you that operates beneath awareness remains tuned to limitation, separation, distrust, and survival. And the quantum field invariably responds to the dominant signal. So when someone claims that conscious creation doesn't work for them, what they're really saying is, I haven't yet recalibrated the internal observer that's collapsing my reality. This explains why people can change external circumstances, moving to new locations, starting different relationships, switching careers, and still find themselves experiencing the same emotional patterns and challenges. Because nothing external possesses the power to override an internal frequency that remains unchanged. Let me express this another way. Your reality cannot transform if the observer hasn't shifted. So what keeps you anchored in your current observer position? Most often it's resistance, and resistance manifests in countless subtle forms. It appears as overthinking, as procrastination, as emotional numbness, as excessive busyness, as rational-sounding justifications for why change isn't possible right now. But beneath all these expressions, resistance ultimately communicates one fundamental message. Your system believes maintaining your current reality is safer than venturing into unknown territory, even if your current reality causes suffering. And this belief isn't merely intellectual. It's encoded into your body's chemistry, your nervous system's patterning, your emotional circuitry. This is why you can intellectually understand transformative concepts, but still struggle to embody them. This is why affirmations often feel hollow, why visualizations frequently fade without impact, why you continue cycling through familiar patterns despite your sincere desire for something different. The resistance isn't primarily in your thinking, it's in your biology, your energetic signature. When your nervous system remains dysregulated, it continuously broadcasts a signal of threat to the quantum field, even while your words are declaring readiness for transformation. This energetic contradiction keeps collapsing the same limited possibilities into your experience. It's not personal, it's physics. Throughout history, pioneering scientists and mystics have understood that the universe operates through fundamental patterns of energy, frequency, and vibration. This wasn't metaphorical insight, it was literal recognition of how reality functions. Your life experience is a frequency pattern. Your thoughts, emotions, physical posture, breathing patterns, and subtle energy all create a vibrational signature that either aligns with your desired reality or repels it. This is why certain numerical sequences, geometric patterns, and energy practices have been preserved across cultures. They intuitively capture something essential about the language of creation. You are not merely a person navigating through life, you are a frequency generator embedded within a responsive field of consciousness. And you've been broadcasting the same patterns for so long that you've mistaken them for your fundamental identity. But here's the liberating truth. You don't need to fight against these patterns. You simply need to stop feeding them with your attention and energy. If you're following this journey with me and feeling something awakening within you, if you sense that you're ready to step into a more expanded expression of who you truly are, I invite you to subscribe to this channel, to join our community of conscious observers who are learning to harness the creative power of awareness. And in the comments below, share a single word that represents the limiting pattern you're ready to release, whether it's fear, scarcity, doubt, unworthiness, whatever it might be. Name it clearly, not for my benefit, but for your own. Because bringing unconscious patterns into awareness is the first step in dissolving their power over your experience. We now arrive at the aspect of transformation that many seekers never fully grasp. Not because it's complex or hidden, but because it's so elegantly simple that they overlook its profound implications. Shifting your reality isn't about forcing the quantum field to bend to your will. It's about aligning so completely with the version of yourself who already experiences your desired reality that your current circumstances can no longer contain your vibrational signature. Let's examine this more closely. Imagine the quantum field as a vast ocean of vibrating possibilities. Every potential version of your life, every conceivable experience, every iteration of yourself already exists in this ocean as a probability wave. When you focus your attention, when you hold a particular emotional state, when you embody a specific frequency, you collapse certain waves into your tangible experience. But the critical insight is this: you don't collapse a wave by wanting it. You collapse it by matching it. And matching isn't primarily mental, it's emotional, physical, energetic. It's how your entire being resonates when you're in coherent alignment with a particular frequency pattern. Why do so many people struggle to match the frequency of their desired reality? Because they're attempting to think their way into it. They intellectualize the process. I understand abundance is available to me. I know love is my natural state. I recognize that healing is possible. But intellectual understanding, while valuable, isn't sufficient. Your entire system needs to vibrate in harmony with this truth. Your emotional body, your physical form, your energy field, your subconscious patterns, your daily habits, your core identity, all must signal, I am now the version of myself who experiences this reality. This is where embodiment becomes essential. Embodiment isn't a conceptual exercise, it's the missing link in conscious creation. It's the practice of inhabiting the frequency of your desired reality before external circumstances appear to justify it. Let me offer some practical examples to illuminate this principle. If you're aligning with an abundance reality, embodiment might mean relating to money with appreciation rather than anxiety. It might mean breathing deeply and expanding your energy field when scarcity thoughts arise, rather than contracting into fear. It might mean approaching opportunities with openness and trust instead of skepticism and guardedness. If you're aligning with a love-filled reality, embodiment might mean softening the protective barriers around your heart when you feel vulnerable instead of reinforcing them. It might mean expressing authentic appreciation without expectation. It might mean cultivating compassion for yourself when old wounds surface instead of identifying with their stories. If you're aligning with vibrant well-being, embodiment might mean treating your body as though it's already in the process of restoration and balance. It might mean offering your physical form nourishment, movement, and rest from a place of loving respect rather than criticism or punishment. It might mean speaking to your cells with gratitude and expectation of their innate intelligence. Do you recognize the pattern emerging here? You don't wait for reality to shift before you begin living differently. You start living differently, and reality shifts in response. This is why conventional manifestation approaches so often disappoint. They're conditional. I'll feel grateful after my circumstances improve. I'll relax once my relationship heals. I'll experience abundance when my finances change. But the quantum field doesn't operate sequentially. It reflects your dominant frequency instantaneously, not after your external conditions meet certain criteria. This brings us back to the wisdom encoded in universal patterns, the numerical sequences, sacred geometries, and harmonic frequencies that recur throughout nature and consciousness. These aren't arbitrary symbols or cultural artifacts. They're reflections of how creation organizes itself around coherent energy patterns. The real work of transformation then becomes, can you achieve coherence within yourself? Can you bring your conscious intentions, emotional states, physical sensations, and actions into harmonious alignment, even when external evidence hasn't yet caught up with your internal shift? Can you maintain this coherent signal consistently enough for probability waves to collapse into new patterns of experience? Because here's the paradox at the heart of quantum creation. Your reality doesn't transform when you grow tired of waiting for it. Your reality transforms when waiting is no longer part of your vibrational signature. Take a breath and allow that truth to penetrate your awareness. The version of you who experiences what you desire isn't located in some future timeline. They're vibrating at a frequency you can access right now, in this moment. The question becomes, will you tune to it? Before we move forward, reflect honestly. How would your day unfold if you moved through it as the version of yourself who already experiences your desired reality? What subtle choices would differ? What emotional responses would shift? What conversations would you engage in or withdraw from? This isn't about grandiose gestures or dramatic declarations. It's about consistent, subtle alignment with a different frequency pattern. In our final section, we'll explore how to translate these quantum principles into daily practice, how to stop consuming information about transformation and start embodying transformation itself, moment by moment. Are you ready to collapse the waves of possibility that resonate with who you truly are? Let's begin with this fundamental truth. The only practice that matters is the one you actually live. We exist in an era of unprecedented access to transformational knowledge. Books, videos, podcasts, workshops, all promising awakening and empowerment. And yet so many seekers remain unchanged by the wisdom they consume. Why? Because consuming information creates the illusion of progress. But genuine transformation occurs only when knowledge moves from conceptual understanding into lived experience, when it permeates your breathing, your movement, your responses, your energy field. So how do we bridge this gap between knowing and becoming? First, embrace the principle of micro-alignment. Many believe that reality shifts require dramatic changes, life-altering decisions, or grand gestures. But quantum reality responds to coherence, not magnitude. A small action performed with complete alignment often carries greater transformative power than an extravagant effort fueled by desperation or forced willpower. Let's translate this into practical examples for everyday life. If you're shifting toward abundance consciousness, your practice might include breathing deeply and expanding your energy field when scarcity thoughts arise, rather than contracting into familiar anxiety. It might mean expressing genuine gratitude for the resources already flowing through your life, amplifying the energetic signature of, I have enough. It might mean engaging with money, spending it, receiving it, saving it, with presence and appreciation rather than fear or unconsciousness. If you're shifting toward loving connection, Your practice might include opening your posture when you notice yourself physically closing down in interactions. It might mean extending compassion first, before others have earned it. It might mean speaking words of genuine appreciation even when vulnerability feels uncomfortable. If you're shifting toward vibrant well-being, your practice might include tuning into the subtle sensations of aliveness already present in your body, rather than focusing exclusively on symptoms or limitations. It might mean selecting nourishment, movement, and rest that honor your body's intelligence rather than punishing or controlling it. It might mean interrupting critical internal dialogue and replacing it with language that acknowledges your body's remarkable capacity for balance and renewal. These seemingly small adjustments are quantum keys. They signal to the field, this is who I am now, not who I'm trying to become eventually, but who I've chosen to be in this present moment. But here's the aspect of practice that many teachers neglect to emphasize. Transformation isn't about perfection, it's about return. You will inevitably slip back into familiar patterns. You will find yourself thinking, feeling, and acting from old frequency signatures. You will catch yourself collapsing probability waves that align with your previous state of being. This doesn't signify failure. It simply confirms you're human, navigating the profound territory of consciousness evolution. The power isn't in maintaining perfect alignment at all times. The power is in how quickly you notice when you've shifted out of coherence and how compassionately you guide yourself back. Each time you recognize yourself operating from an old frequency and gently redirect your energy toward your chosen state of being, you strengthen the neural pathways and energetic signature of the new pattern. Each time you pause, breathe, and choose coherent alignment over habitual reaction, you reinforce your shift. Each time you act as though your desired reality is already present, even when external circumstances haven't yet reorganized to reflect it, you collapse probability waves that resonate with your new frequency. This is the art of quantum embodiment. Various practices can support this alignment. Breathwork that regulates your nervous system, meditation that quiets mental chatter, visualization that activates your sensory imagination, sound frequencies that entrain coherent states. For some, working with symbolic representations, sacred geometry, numerical patterns, archetypal imagery, creates powerful anchors for consciousness. These tools aren't magical shortcuts, they're instruments of focus that help your entire system receive and integrate the message, I am attuned to a new reality. But remember that no external practice works without your full participation. You can't outsource your transformation to a technique. The technique is effective because you bring your awareness, your intention, your presence to it. So here is my invitation to you today. Identify one pattern from your current reality that you're prepared to release. Choose one small practical action that embodies the frequency of your desired reality. Commit to practicing this action today, not with striving or force, but with presence, authenticity, and compassionate awareness. It might be something as simple as pausing for 3 conscious breaths before responding to a trigger. It might be choosing words that reflect your desired state, rather than your habitual reactions. It might be spending 5 minutes visualizing yourself surrounded by the energy of what you're calling into your experience. The specific practice matters less than the quality of presence you bring to it. And as you step into this embodied awareness, remember that you're not alone in this journey. You're part of a growing collective of conscious observers who are awakening to their creative nature, rediscovering their capacity to participate intentionally with the quantum field, and learning to collapse probability waves that align with humanity's highest potential. This channel, this community exists to support you in that evolution. So before we conclude this exploration together, I extend this heartfelt invitation. If these ideas have resonated within you, if you feel the quickening of possibility awakening in your awareness, subscribe to our channel. Stay connected to these conversations that remind you of who you truly are. And in the comments, share one specific action you're committing to today, something that anchors you in the frequency of your chosen reality. Your word matters. Your commitment matters. Your presence in this community matters, because we're not just changing our individual realities, we're collectively shifting the field of human consciousness. And finally, as we complete this journey together, remember that the quantum field doesn't differentiate between brief experiences of your desired state and consistent embodiment. It responds to the quality and coherence of your frequency, not its duration. What transforms your reality permanently is your capacity to return to alignment again and again, until that frequency becomes your default state. Most people approach manifestation as an isolated event. They set an intention, perform a ritual, and then wait for results. When their reality doesn't immediately transform, they revert to their previous frequency, not realizing that the true power of conscious creation lies in sustainability. This doesn't mean forcing yourself to maintain positive emotions at all times. It doesn't mean denying challenges or pretending to be something you're not. It means developing the emotional resilience and energetic capacity to consistently return to your chosen frequency, especially when external circumstances attempt to pull you back into familiar patterns. Every time you notice yourself slipping into old emotional responses and choose something different, you weaken the gravitational pull of your previous reality. Every time you recognize limiting beliefs arising and consciously shift your perspective, you reinforce your new frequency signature. Every time you act, speak, breathe, and move, as though you already embody your desired state of being, your current circumstances lose their defining power over your experience. This isn't punishment or struggle. This is mastery. You are learning to become the dominant frequency that collapses probability waves aligned with who you truly are. Not occasionally, not when it's convenient, but as your way of being in the world. Let me offer a simple framework for embodying this practice. Begin each day with conscious calibration. Before engaging with external demands, check your frequency. Ask yourself, what state of being am I bringing into this day? Am I operating from trust or fear? Am I expecting struggle or flow? Set a clear intention for your vibrational signature before your attention gets captured by circumstances. Throughout your day, practice micro-alignments. Notice when your actions, words, and energy are congruent with your desired reality, and when they're reinforcing old patterns. If you're calling in abundance, are you relating to resources with appreciation or anxiety? If you're manifesting connection, are you approaching others with openness or guardedness? If you're creating well-being, are you treating your body with respect or criticism? Small, consistent shifts create powerful momentum. When emotional triggers arise, and they will, practice regulation rather than repression. This isn't about avoiding uncomfortable emotions. It's about moving through them consciously instead of being defined by them. Breathe, ground your energy, reconnect with the version of yourself who knows. This is a temporary wave passing through my experience, not who I fundamentally am. Surround yourself with supportive frequencies, people, environments, symbols, sounds that reinforce your chosen state of being. Let your external world become an ally in maintaining your coherence, not a source of constant disruption. And finally, practice gratitude as an amplifier of manifestation. Gratitude isn't just a positive emotion. It's the energetic signature of already having received. When you generate genuine appreciation, you signal to the quantum field, I am aligned, I am receptive, I am complete. This accelerates the collapse of probability waves that match your chosen frequency. Remember that you're not engaging in these practices to eventually arrive somewhere else. You're practicing because this is the somewhere you've chosen to be. You're not pursuing a different reality. You're embodying it now. I want to thank you for walking this quantum journey with me. You are not the same person who began watching this video. Your energy is vibrating slightly differently. You're carrying new awareness, new possibility within your field. The true magic isn't in memorizing concepts we've explored. It's in what you choose to do with this activation of consciousness. So here is my final invitation. Not as an assignment, but as an opportunity. In the next 24 hours, surprise yourself. Take one action, make one choice, shift one pattern in a way that belongs to the version of you who already experiences your desired reality. It doesn't need to be dramatic or visible to others. It simply needs to be authentic. And when you do this, recognize the profound truth. You are no longer waiting for transformation. You are being it. If this exploration has awakened something within you, I invite you to subscribe to our channel, not because you're following content, but because you're stepping into a field of collective consciousness where we're remembering our creative nature together. Thank you for your presence, your attention, your willingness to expand into more of who you truly are. Continue choosing. Continue returning. Continue embodying the observer who collapses the waves of your highest potential. Because when you do, the quantum field inevitably responds.